What I wanted to do is walk you through an example campaign of how when you actually use email segmentation, you get more results. What that basically means is the problem, what most people do when they're launching cold email campaigns or thinking of launching cold email campaigns, you may have heard that, okay, you go on a database like Apollo, or you go on a list kit, or you go on a Zoom info, you scrape the leads, you put the filters that you think are relevant, you write the copy and blast out the emails. Yes, that can work, and it does work. The only issue with that is you're actually missing out on a lot of leads that would have otherwise responded had you sent the right message at the right time. Now, what you have in front of you is an example of how we took a tab with a lot of industries, like not even one, two, three. It is the entire like B2C industry. So pharmaceutical, tech, like banking. We just took a bunch of industries, and we had to figure out, okay, how do you actually segment this so that they actually find this relevant? Because if you're reaching out to a banking company and your case study is not relevant to that, they may or may not respond, right? So to maximize the response rate, what we decided to do is match the case study my client had with the actual lead we're reaching out to. And this is very, very key because if you have more than one case study and you have like 8 or 10 case studies and each one is like a different industry, you can segment your campaigns based off that. And now you're actually increasing your response rate because uh, the messaging is relevant. For example, this is what the copy looks like. So, hi, first name as the title, you're probably familiar with podcasting. And this is called case study output. So this variable I'll show you is like, okay, we help brands like BMW get 40% more people saying they'd buy from a 1 30-second podcast ad that people actually finished. So this changes based on the prospect. This is the key thing. And this is, we believe, one of the reasons why this campaign was able to get a 51% positive response rate. We booked 9 calls of this campaign and we only sent like 7,000 emails. So your email to booking ratio is like 700, 800 emails. So it took us around 700, 800 emails to book 1 call, which is pretty good. So for perspective, or like to show you how you actually build this thing, you want to first think about the principle. Okay, I have these case studies. I want to make sure the person I'm reaching out to is getting this case study. So what I would do is I'm going to walk you through this now, just show you an example of how I would do this. So I'm going to just go to my website, just like, because it's the easiest thing I can do now. And basically go to these case studies here. So for example, AI company, podcasting company, real estate company. So what I'll do is I'll put this here in ChatGPT. I'm going to say, hey, I want to segment the lead list based on industry. I have the following case studies you can check out on rexmedia.io. Could you please list out all the case studies he has specifically? Now, what this will do is go ahead and give you a list of, the list of the case studies you have. So you can go ahead and use them. So here we go. It actually gave the case studies. What I would do here is go a step deeper. Could you list out the results in particular and include all, please? So now it will go ahead and list out the results. So what I want to do here, there it is, what I wanted. It's like more clear for me. I like it like this. Cool. Now what you want to do is say, hey, I have this list of people. You're going to upload your lead list. So like I would basically upload the lead list here and say, hey, I have this lead list of people I want to reach out to. Could you please segment the list above based on industries I can target? So basically, the only correction I'll make there, sorry, do not upload your lead list here yet. Just say, hey, like I have this lead list of people I want to reach out to. Could you please segment the list based on industries I can target? Now, what it's going to do is go ahead and give you a list of industries. So, okay, so I see luxury, fashion, PR. So blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Now, what you want to do is upload your lead list. So let me show you an example. So I'll go add photos and files. I will go like this, choose this list, for example, and then I'll say, okay, cool. Can you please put a case study theme column where you talk about, where you mention the industry or industry bucket that lead would be relevant to. I want you to use the above industry buckets you mentioned. If they're not mentioned, uh, output other, or like something like this, okay? So now it's going to go ahead and take this list of people and it's going to match it to that list of leads. So I'm going to show you what the output actually looks like. Okay, so once that happens, you actually get an output. Now, for this example, I didn't actually have an industry column, but it will basically show like the case study theme over here. So other NA, other NA. Other NA is basically like, hey, I could not find a case study that is relevant for this lead. But if you actually have an industry column, you can make it so that it will show the actual case study theme. So for example, if this was a tech company, it's going to show here tech and SaaS because it is looking for these buckets and trying to match it with that. Now here, a key thing in the prompt is to like mention that it's other in NA. So if it doesn't actually find it, that's another bucket. So you don't waste the lead you have. Now, one thing to consider as well is like what do you actually say in the copy? Because okay, now we've actually segmented based on the case study theme. We want to make sure we're actually sending the right message to these people. So what you want to do is, I'll show you, is just use AI and basically go through each one. If case study theme equals automotive and mobility or contains automotive output, we ran a 30-second ad for BMW. So basically what you want to do is say, hey, if case study theme equals automotive and mobility, so you basically take the case study theme, like the bucket that we talked about then. So I'll show you what we're talking about, these buckets, and basically go and list them out. So hey, if it matches luxury, fashion, and PR, output this line. If it matches mobility and transportation, output this line. You want to output a case study line. You want to actually write the copy here. So this is how I did it. So I basically said, hey, if it's travel, most travel ads get skipped under 5 seconds, but we help TripAdvisor and Emirates expose to hundreds of thousands of listeners using 30-second podcast ads. If it's finance and fintech, most finance ads get skipped under 5 seconds, but we helped Capital.com expose brands to 100,000 listeners. If it's retail, we ran a 30-second podcast ad for Valentino after that. So notice how we're actually able to segment it based on the industry. This is the power of email segmentation. When you have a lot of case studies and when you have multiple industries you can target, this is an example. You can also segment it based on the job title. You can segment it based on funding round. You can segment it based on if they have a specific role they're hiring or not. So this is where you want to get creative with campaigns because that's where the higher returns are seen in results. So if this sounds interesting to you and you actually want to have someone like an agency handle your cold emails and book you 5 to 15 qualified appointments every single month on a pay-per-meeting basis, you can check out my Calendly in my LinkedIn profile. But apart from that, hope this was valuable and have a good day.